I was told that One Punch Man was good, and Chibi said it was good, so I took the chance and watched One Punch Man. And man, this season was great. You really need to watch it if you haven't watched it, man. You need to watch One Punch Man. It's such a great show. And I hope that even for Madhouse is notorious for not doing season two, that they are gonna do a season two of One Punch Man, or at least some other studio is gonna do a, a season two of One Punch Man because it's so great, man. It's so great. It's so sad that they didn't announce a season two at the end of this episode of One Punch Man. But then again, this could just have been to sell the manga. And did it sell the manga? Yes, it did sell the manga, at least to me. I'm gonna pick up the published manga volumes and read them. And you know how far behind I am on manga. So, yeah, for me to pick up that stuff and read it, you know it's good. You know it's good. And man, I'm really looking forward to reading stuff that hasn't been animated because Madhouse didn't think that was really important. Even thought it maybe later down the line could have been important. And also reading the arcs that hasn't been animated yet, man. Oh, I love this show. I love this show. But let's talk about this final episode of the first season of One Punch Man because we really want a season two. And let me first say, I love Tornado. I love Tornado, man. She's so awesome, especially in the beginning of this episode when the strongest man, he's basically taking like a rock, a boulder, I would almost say, and throwing it at the what's it called, the spaceship. And then he is being told, "Hey, get away! There's some good rubbles there." And Tornado has basically picked up like three what is it called, house-sized buildings or rubbles, and throwing it at the spaceship. So yeah, she is so awesome. I like her. I also like when Satama he comes out of the spaceship at the end of this, or not at the end of this episode, and she's basically like, "What is a B hero doing here?" And then Genos is just coming, "Yes, master," and then she's getting ignored, and then she's getting a little bit mops, a little bit angry over being ignored. And then when Genos is being encouraged by Saitama to tell her that she should basically shut up, she basically slams Genos into a wall. And Saitama he looks at Genos and says, "Hey, you look wrong, Genos. Let me get you down from here." And oh man! And then she's gonna try to use her psychic power on Saitama, and I wonder, could she even defeat Saitama? Because we know that, or we saw the last episode that, on that, sorry, the previous episode that Saitama he basically defeated the strongest psychic alien that was on that ship. So I wonder if her powers would even have been any use. At at this moment, I'm actually sad that Silverfang stopped her by telling her to stop, because oh man, I really would have loved to see Saitama versus Tornado to see how that would end. Also, Silverfang, man, he is buffed. He is freaking buffed, man. I've never seen anyone in the anime being so buffed. And I also like how he basically concludes that the reason why the clay dude that they are fighting always regenerates his head first is because the pearl that is basically his life, or shall we say his DNA, is basically there. So that's how they defeat him. So yeah, I like that. But of course you haven't. We still have to talk about the most important fight in this episode, which is Saitama versus Boros. And oh my god, that fight was so awesome, guys. So awesome. Because at one moment I actually thought, is Saitama in trouble? Is he in trouble? It was first when he was basically being smacked into the airship that I saw that he was not in trouble. But because for one moment I actually thought he was in trouble. But man, Boros, he doesn't pull a punch because his meteor smash, I think it was called, no, meteor burst, man, he fires at Saitama and tells him that it would vaporize even his bones. And considering that bones are normally the only thing that is left behind when you burn a person, and that's why what's called forensic is actually using those to identify people. That would have been a really powerful one, and it even destroys some of his men. So yeah, so Saitama not being affected, I can understand why Boros is going not all out. He's actually entering a mode where he turns white, and he is so strong. Or let's say like this, he uses so much power that it actually takes away his life. So he's actually shortening his life just to send Saitama flying out into space. He actually lands at the moon, and one moment I was like, can Saitama live in an environment where there's no air? However, he can't, but he just holds his breath, and then he picks up a rock and just let it fall. And I presume he does that so he can calculate the distance, or not the gravity of the moon, so he doesn't destroy the Earth, because the impact he does when he arrives at the Earth, man. Oh my God, man. If he had failed that, I'm pretty sure that would have done more damage than what Boros' ship would have done, man. Because, oh, that was really powerful. And Boros, I don't know if he's some kind of super Namek, because when he's getting disarmed by Saitama, he just does this Piccolo thing and gets his arm back. So, yeah. And then Boros, he decides to go all out because he wanted to defeat Saitama. And I can understand him, because he's basically not had an opponent that could stand up to him. And he goes all out and even uses his ultimate attack, Cosmic Burst, which, according to him, if it was to hit Earth, it would both vaporize Saitama and the Earth, or destroy the Earth. So yeah, and there we see the final move, basically, let's say it like this, the last resort Saitama has, which is Serious Punch. So considering that he has taken all of his other opponents out without being serious, you can see how strong Boros is. And you can even see it because this attack, I'm pretty sure it's getting sent out into space, because the Earth's atmosphere is basically there's some of it missing. So I'm pretty sure it's sent out into space. And I'm pretty sure it's also hit Boros, because when he is laying there at the spaceship, and let me say it like this, I freaking love Boros. I wish he wouldn't die in this episode, because he was such a great villain, man. I really love him. Because he tells Saitama that he was basically like a great opponent, and that the prophecy was right, and that Saitama, is the strongest warrior in the universe. So yeah, I have freaking respect for him. I have freaking respect for him. Oh man, I have such a great respect. And now let's talk about two heroes, which I really, really can understand what they are meaning. Because one of them is Metal Knight, which according to Drive Knight is Genus's enemy. And I can see what he means, because it seems like Metal Knight, he doesn't care about how many casualties there is, just as long as he can get his hands on more powerful weapons, so he can basically ensure that justice are being performed and there is no one to stand against him. And keep in mind, justice. What defines justice? What defines it? Let's say it like this. He could define that Genus, he was an enemy, so it was better to obliterate him. And that would basically, and no one would be able to stop him because of his powerful weapons. So Metal Knight is really dangerous. And I wonder if what Drive Knight was actually telling him was that it was Metal Knight that destroyed the place that Genus lived when he was still a human. Because that's pretty much what I get. And now let's get to the other one that I really would have wished Boros would have killed, and that is Sweet Mask. He is such a dick, because he arrives when everything is done, and he tells them that the heroes, the S-class heroes, who defeated this clay hero and defeated this alien force, that they basically was shitty. They did a shitty job because, if I understand him correct, that is because of the casualty that was basically, all the dead people, and that there was not even a rubble left in City A. So he tells them that they are shitty, and the only reason why he stays at Class A is because he want to ensure that shitty heroes like Metal Bat doesn't move up into S class. And he is even going so far as to basically some of the men that survived, even the guy who repeatedly said, "I want to go home," they has basically been, chained up and couldn't do a thing, and he still executes them. And as he says to the heroes, they deserved to die because they was evil. He didn't even give them a moment to defend themselves. He just dispensed justice. They didn't even do anything towards him. So I really hope that Sweet Mask is getting beat the shit out of him, getting his face smashed and stuff, because I really freaking dislike him. I would actually have loved if what's it called, Blizzard, the sister of Tornado, she basically would have shish kebabbed him. I freaking hate Sweet Mask. He's so fucking annoying. He's fucking annoying. So yeah. And I wonder, is Saitama gonna get a promotion for this? Because he saved the Earth. He must freaking get a promotion. He must freaking get a promotion. Then again, I think that Saitama is a bit sad that Boros is gone, just like me. Because at the end, he takes out an opponent with one punch, and then he says, "Back to one punch," and he's so, and you can hear he's sad, man. So yeah, this is freaking a great series, man. I'm really looking forward to reading the manga. I really do. And with that, guys, have a good day, good night, wherever you are, and I will see you later, guys. Cheers.